Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today I have a story that's coming yesterday. I'm going to share that story. If anyone comes on deck here for the live chat, I'll probably ignore your messages till I get through the story. Then we can talk about it. The topic today is when your partner doesn't know what they want. Or maybe you don't know what you want, right? And we've all been there before, and we'll come back to it. Morning. Like I said, I'm not going to respond to things till I get through this story. This story is not very well written. The story is not really well written, but this is an example of why I prefer now for people to maybe pay the $25 before they send the story in and maybe take a little bit more time and review it before they send it in. But I'm going to do it for this individual right now. Hi, my name is, I don't mention names. Been watching a few of your videos on YouTube for a little while now. Expression of one you explain about she being confused and don't know what she wants, because I'm dealing with the same thing right now. She's confused and doesn't know what she wants. How many of us have been there, right? And if an individual says they're confused and they don't know what they want, they probably don't want to be in the relationship. They don't have enough reasons stacked up. So it began in February 2019. I feel my girlfriend was pulling away from me. I asked her about it. She said we're fine because we were going on a trip in 2 months. We're supposed to go on a trip to South Carolina with my 2 kids and her 1 daughter. So you both have kids. You have that in common. I was extremely happy about that. Within the same month, she had told me she's really sick with. I'm not going to say what she was sick with. So I was concerned about her. I called her once, twice, multiple times. She didn't pick up. So if she's in a place where she's sick, you're concerned. Let's keep in mind. She's not really responding to that. That says a lot, right? Adventure that day, I went home and I used my stepfather's cell phone to call her. She picked up. I told her to answer my text. So she picked up when the number wasn't familiar. Ding, ding, ding. That says something to you that she doesn't want to talk to you. She said she was okay. Following day, a window. She never did. The following day, a window into her house out of everything. See, this is where the story goes. She was not home. She had went to work. As I was on my way home, I saw her car parked at a local bank next to her house. So now you're doing some stalking shit, right? I went over to try to talk to her, spot away with the car, so I follow wish. I didn't do that. But I did after when we didn't talk for a few days. I called friends of hers to find out if she was okay. Our friend had told me she is fine and that she will get in contact with me, which she did not. Okay, bottom line is it's a confusing as hell story, right? Get confused because you're not it. I know what I want. Thanks, Janet Storm. Thanks, Janet Storm. So as you can see, this story is written a little all over the place. The topic is when your partner, I don't even need to say your woman, your partner doesn't know what they want, right? Or maybe you don't know what you want, right? Is it me or sounds it's a bit off? Yeah, it is a bit off if you're still there, EG. I don't know if I can even finish the story actually because it's so bad. And a lot of people say, "Oh, my English isn't good." I understand, but you haven't even reread your story to make sure that sentences make sense. Because obviously you can read and write English pretty well the way you've written it. Some people tell me sometimes, "Oh, I don't really write a good story." Well, if it's your story, it should come out pretty clean. It should come out pretty quick on timeline and stuff like that. But basically, what's going on in this story is that this guy is chasing. The woman has pulled away. She's not answering her phone calls. She has some kind of ailment or sickness. And he says he's really concerned about her, but she's not picking up. So he's thinking, I'm a concerned individual for my girlfriend, but why isn't she receiving my calls? I've heard of this before where someone's sick. I actually had someone in the past that their girlfriend, which became their ex, had cancer, which is horrible, right? And so he was perplexed with the idea, like, I need to call her up, I need to support her. And she was like, I don't want your help. And he's going, well, I'm doing the right. Regardless if you think you're doing the right thing or you think your intentions are really good, they still need to be received. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you say, like, oh, I want to give you a ride to the hospital. No, I don't want a ride. There's a reason they don't want to ride from you. and you annoying them and asking them over and over again, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, they're telling you there's something wrong. They don't really want to talk about it for you. And you got to go, okay, that's enough. So in the next part of this, if we can continue, I asked her, I'd given her some time, good enough. She replied, I don't want to be with anyone at the moment. She doesn't know what she wants at this moment. But she does know she doesn't want to be with you. See, that's the thing. If you want to turn it into this general statement where you're like, oh shit, she doesn't want to be with me. That's the sound of the video's not right. The sound's not right. Does anyone else say the same thing besides EG? I'll have to restart the video though. Thanks for telling me that, EG. My voice is a little off today, but I won't think the sound would be. Oh, I know what it is. Thanks, EG. We don't have the mic in. EG's on deck. Okay, is that better? I didn't have the mic. I didn't have the Blue Yeti mic, and that's a little higher quality. Janet Storm, you are okay. Thanks, Janet Storm. How'd you get the name Janet Storm? That's cool as fuck. That's a I'm on Wi-Fi in Oregon. Okay. That sounds like a Marvel Comics character, Janet Storm. So going back to the story really quick, though, you've heard of this before. I haven't really been in this situation myself where I've been breaking up or I've been in a relationship where I'm like, oh, she doesn't really know what she wants. When someone says that, but they know that they want to break up with you, it means usually that they feel bad, they're in a flustered place, they need some time away. But you going like, what's wrong, and trying to figure out, oh, they really just don't know what they want. If they don't know what they want, they probably need to break up and take some time alone and figure that shit out. There's a problem that you want to be back with your ex-husband. This is part of the story. If now you're putting words in someone's mouth, if someone tells you something about wanting to break up, that at the current time, chances are the same since 1987 marriage, but divorced in 1987, never changed it. You had the same name since, okay, that's your real name, actually? I thought that was just like a little tag name for YouTube. Oh, man, you sound like you're a newscaster or something. I like a Channel 7 News, Janet Storm reporting live, right? So going back to this, has anyone that's on deck right now, we only got 7 people. Does anyone on deck know my real name was Heaney? Heaney or Henny? Huh, hated it. Heaney. What nationality would Heaney be? Henny. It's different. Janet Storm sounds cool. I'll tell you that much. So bottom line with this story, this is what's tough. A guy that I do live coaching sessions with is a good friend of mine. Irish. Okay, shit. McCarthy. Right? A guy I do live coachings with and really likes my channel said he doesn't like when I do the stories on the live stream. But my point was just to start something off and get people on deck here. And so far, Eric, are you still there, bro? Because you told me the sound of the video is off. It sounds a bit off. Is it better now that I put this microphone up? So finishing this off, this guy goes on, and also she just wants to be happy and she wants the same for me. So I replied, I didn't make you happy. Again, she breaks up with you, you put words in her mouth and you make her feel like, oh, I didn't say that. That's not what I meant, right? She said, I just don't get it. I'm not on the same happiness level as you, and I can't bring you what you want in the relationship because I'm not under the same level. I'm not ready for that. I don't know why. I'm just not ready. About a month later, I texted her saying she was coming to pick up the things at my house from the bedroom set. She said she phoned a person or a guy to come pick them up. The guy didn't show up. I said, okay, I will rent a U-Haul. If she's having someone else pick up her furniture from her house, she doesn't want to see you, and she's moving forward. I then returned them for, if you like, thank you. She then said thank you. About a week later, I sent her a message saying I need to ask her a few questions. If you could reply honestly. I really appreciate it. She said, okay. I said to her in a previous text you sent me, you said you love me, but it's different form of love acts, or what does that mean? She said, I love you, and it's deeper than I can tell you. I just need some time to figure out things because at the moment I don't know what I want. He says, and I loved this girl. I loved his girl more than anything in the world. So he had kids also. Yes. Do I have a chance to get her back? So what's the worst case scenario? They won't come back? Unstable people. Well, I mean, when you're in a breakup and someone says, I don't know what I want really right now, or the classic, you deserve better than me. Who's heard that one before? When someone says that, they're actually probably projecting. Thanks for telling me, EG. They're actually probably telling you that they think they deserve better. When someone's saying, I don't know what I really want right now, but I want to break up, they're saying, I want to break up. I don't know what I want after that. But when you're in a relationship, what is a relationship? It's a commitment. That's what the whole thing is. It's saying, I'm on deck. I'm riding with you. I'm with you. We're together now. We introduce ourselves as a couple. We're together. And when someone goes, oh, I just don't know what I want. I want to break up. They're saying, translation, I don't want to be with you. That part I know. Say I don't know what I want, then let it go. Yeah, I mean, if they say or of they say. I mean, it sounds easy for us. I haven't been in a relationship where that's an excuse to break up. Someone's never used that. But I'll tell you this. If they did, what else do you do but say, all right, go figure it out? I'll tell you the other part that everyone does. Well, go figure it out, and I'll be here waiting for you. You know, if you're a calm, cool, confident individual, you'd say, all right, go ahead and figure it out, but I'm definitely going to be doing me and doing my thing, right? And I'm definitely going to be open to moving forward. If it is in, I don't understand, Janet. I'm sorry, but if it is in. So moving forward with this, it goes back to the fact that this is stacked, right? Because this guy's contacted her friend and said, is she okay? He's followed her somewhere and she didn't respond. And then she says she wants to pick up her bedroom set and she's going to have someone else pick it up. She doesn't want to be in contact with them. On and off, then I would let it go. On and off. Well, I mean, this is an interesting topic, Janet, because this comes up a lot in breakups. And the closing thing is he asked me in this story that's convoluted and very hard to understand because he obviously didn't reread it. And this is why if you want to get a tailored response, do the live coaching session or write out a private video response. Reread your story 3 times and really think, is this coherent? Can someone understand where I'm going with this? I mean, other people have written me like 1,500 words. They're like, I know I wrote a lot, but I can understand the story. I hate on and off relationships. Either you're in or out. Well, that's what I always tell people about. If you're in the beginning of a relationship, right, and you're in the first 6 months and you broke up 3 or 4 times, what? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. In the first 6 months, it should be rose petals and wine glasses. It should be the honeymoon phase. You guys should be getting along really well. You guys should be negotiating what you do and having fun. What I mean by negotiating, good relationships are a negotiation. You know, you're giving in on some things and you're giving in other areas. And the idea of like on again, off again, that's a choice. 3 or 4 times, yikes. Yeah, I have a close friend. And recently I think it's been 4 times in like the last 7 months. And I just kind of told the guy, I was like, at some point you're just replaying the same game. And then it becomes a pattern in the relationship. And then when you break up, it's like, all right, we're probably going to get back together. So, and then when we get back together, we really love each other again. Then you start the whole process over again. And then the person that keeps breaking up or creating that situation gets the attention they want and gets their way usually. It's kind of like a tantrum. Excuse me. So let's open it up right now. I got 9 people on deck. Does anyone have a specific question? Janet Storm is typing away. Thank you so kindly. I haven't met you before, Janet Storm, nor have I met you. I haven't had you in one of these chats. 4 times in 7 months, a pattern, right? The same thing happens. Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing about patterns. They're comfortable. because a pattern's predictable. So even if someone's in a pattern, they're like, well, I know what's coming next. How many times have you heard someone say, oh, I know what's coming next, right? So they feel like that's comfortable. I'm done with the story, coach. Just want to listen to you. Okay, I'm going to take reference because you, BG, you're always on deck. So I'll stop doing the stories and maybe do some questions. And it takes a little while to get these things cooking. I'm at 9 people right now. Last time I had up to 17, 18. So it takes a little while. I ain't going to lie. I contacted her friends just to know how she is to your will not be the first nor will be the last. Okay, interesting topic, EG. I've never done that in a breakup. I find that desperate and needy. I'm not looking down on you, but I think the minute you contact friends or family, you're probably not going to get what you're looking for. Okay. You're probably not going to get what you're looking for. When you call friends and family, they're like 80 to 90% of the time, they're going to be on the side of their friend. They're going to go back to their friend and go, yeah, John called me yesterday and I didn't know what to say to him. He was asking about you. And usually it's always like, oh, I just want to see how she's doing, right? No, you're checking on her. You're seeing if she's dating other people. You're prying, right? And if that information comes to you without trying, okay, and it's a bad idea. I think the worst I ever saw was a really good friend of mine. This is years back, 12, 13 years ago. And they were together in their early, I think they were high school sweethearts all the way up until their early 20s. It was like a 6 or 7 year relationship. They had a kid together. They were engaged. So it was deep. It was thick, right? So the relationship was really serious. They broke up. He was heartbroken. She kept pushing him away. He went to her parents' house and had a sit down with the parents going like, oh, I don't know what she's thinking, what she's doing. I'm like, what? You don't go to someone's parents when you're adults, even if someone's being immature in that. If someone's got like a serious drug problem or serious legal troubles, maybe, but just trying to get them back and they wanted to go out and party and find themselves and be single, that's just going to backfire because you went to someone's parents. Now, if you go to their friends, it's kind of a step below, but I've seen the parent thing quite a bit. And people will find a reason too, right? Let me know if you found like a really creative or clever reason to call your ex's friend. Like, oh, I just wanted to, check on how the dog was and see how you were out of the blue. I never did that. I'll tell you this. I had exes do it to me later on. They called up a friend of a friend. Called up my friend's ex-girlfriend, started asking questions about me, beating around the bush. And they got back to me immediately. What's up, Nike One? It got back to me immediately. My buddy was like, oh, yeah, so-and-so called his ex, and she was asking all these questions. It was like 5 months after having no contact, not talking, and she was fishing around. And I didn't bite because I wasn't interested. And sometimes when someone's fishing around, it doesn't mean they want to get back together. They're just curious because the mystery starts to take over. Daryl Campbell, they blocked you. My ex said I pushed her away. She started back going to school job. Changed her son. She said the relationship needs a reset. She told my mother that she thinks about me. Well, the thing is, if someone says they need a reset, then the relationship's kind of stuck, right? She said I pushed her away. I don't know. Again, DC, I'll call you Daryl Campbell. Send in your full story. We'll unpack it. Because if you're having trouble with that, this kind of little piece of it, I can't really give you a good response to. Rudell Flores, hi, coach. Good day to you. Good day to you too, my friend. People have mouths, okay? Worst case scenario, they won't come back. You're asking me? It's been 8 months and five months of no contact. Well, if you have 5 months of no contact and you're thinking, oh, they haven't contacted me yet, here's the thing. You just achieved 5 months of no contact moving forward, and you should be in a position where you're getting more and more comfortable with moving forward and being on your own. Wow, for Daryl. I mean, if you're keeping, at some point at 5 months, just keep moving, man. Keep showing up, as I tell people, right? Keep showing up for your job. Keep showing up for your family and friends. Keep doing things for you. Daryl, forget it. Well, I mean, that sounds harsh. That seems to the point. But yeah, and then people get to 5 months and they're still thinking about their ex. You're like, are they thinking about me? Yeah, probably off and on, unless they're with someone new. But the 5 months is for you to move forward, for you to go, wait a minute. I haven't been in contact with this individual. I'm doing okay. I'm taking care of myself. Because the minute you contact them and you don't get the response you want, ground zero. As I like to say, ground zero all over again. Keep showing up. Nike One likes that one. I have a video, Keep Showing Up, and I talk about a story in that that's really good. A friend of mine years back that was out of a 20-year relationship. He's in his early 50s. Dude was going through it. He's crying to me. And I said, and I'll say his name. I said, Gary, keep fucking showing up. Because he was at a point where he was just destitute. And he had a lot going for him. He had a lot going for him. He had money in the bank. He had all these things. But he was just, and he told me years later, he's like, that statement stuck with me because it was simple. And sometimes it's as simple as saying, keep showing up. I have another girl now, but I still think about her a lot. Well, if you have another girl now and you still think about the other one a lot, maybe you should consider the fact that you're lucky because you have someone, you're in place with someone, and now you're in a position to move on with no contact and have someone that supports you. I've been in no contact, been okay for that long. Out of nothing, I feel. I'm back on day one. Is this normal? I've been no contact, been okay for that long. Out of nothing, I feel. I'm back on day one. I don't understand what it means I'm back on day one. So, yeah, Janet Storm's right. It takes time, and that's a simple statement, but everyone wants an easy cure. The part of it that takes longer, if you were in a 6-year, 7-year, 8-year, how long you were together, how deep the relationship counts, you know? And and people are different. How people and the way they love and the way they hold on to someone is completely different than someone else. I've had a friend I remember that was like in an 8-year relationship, really good dude, really good career, really confident. And he was like, yeah, you know, I got out of my relationship. It was my fiance. She was drinking too much. I'm like, what did you do, man? You guys were together for 8 years. He goes, I booked a trip to fucking Vegas. And he goes, I went and like, he just pivoted out of it immediately. And I was like, he goes, it hurt. It took time. And I was like, damn, that wouldn't have been me. Rules of after a breakup. Assess, regroup, rebuild, and then resurface. That's a clean little lineup, swoosh one. I don't know why they restricted that. I think they think the word assess is asses. I think that's why, because you wrote ASSESS. I was with someone on and off for 10 years. Now he has a girlfriend. On and off. If you're going on and off for 10 years, that's a choice. That's not by chance. And if you're comfortable with that, you're always leaving the door open for both of you to meet someone else. Because in between that on and off situation, there's openings to go, well, we're off right now. I can hook up with someone else. So that works for you too. What if she said she was more afraid of losing me than losing one of her closest friends? What does that mean? Well, if she's comparing you to friends, I'm assuming that she's saying she doesn't want to lose you as her friend or she doesn't want to lose you in her life. But right now she doesn't want to continue being intimate or in situations where like your boyfriend, girlfriend, because she's comparing you to a friend. It is a choice, but I always hoped he would change. Well, hoping for 10 years long, I hope it was a lesson. And you accepted that in the beginning of the relationship and it worked out for you guys. I'm not judging you for that. But if you wanted more, at some point you had to make a stand, right? You know, it's just like someone I say that washes the dishes all the time in the relationship, and then all of a sudden they go, oh, shit, I don't want to wash dishes anymore. They've been washing the dishes every night for 8 years, and then, you know, the person just keeps putting the dishes up at the sink, and they're like, well, you know, like, why aren't you washing dishes? Like, well, I've been programmed that way. If you were together 10 years, you guys were programmed to go, oh, we'll be on and off, we'll get back together. The only problem with that is eventually someone might meet someone new. No kidding, right? You're right. You're right. I mean, I had an on and off relationship that ended up being a long-term relationship, and we were very casual in that way. We cared about each other. It was loose and it was fun because I was in my early 20s, so it worked. We were in long distance. We didn't put a lot of pressure on ourselves. But it got to a point where she went, okay, now it's got to be official. She was comfortable with it, and I was like, you know what? It should be official, and I agreed. Laugh out loud, true. It's a choice, but I always hoped he would change. E.g., what if being too careless is the main reason you lose her and you decide to beg to have her back? Would that work? No. What if being too careless is the main reason you lose her and you decide to beg her to be back? Begging is never attractive to women. If there's any women out there on this post, tell them that, right? Any kind of begging or pity seeking, generally speaking, the only thing you'll get out of that is maybe pity in return, and maybe you'll get a short-term, oh, you know, I feel really sorry for him, I want to take him back, but begging, I don't think it's a long-term answer. It's certainly not attractive. I have a kid 1 year. We never lived together because she is very childish. How long should I fight for a family? We have been together 2 years, always on and off. I never like the term fighting for. I think you should be working things out. The idea that you have to do some kind of a fight or an uphill battle, I just don't like that context. I know people use that a lot. You should be working it out and meeting each other halfway in the things you don't agree on. I have a kid 1 year. We never lived together. I don't be there anymore. I don't know what that means. I drew the line and didn't want no more. And if he had a steady girlfriend, well, if you had a steady girlfriend, it's like you got to choose if you want to be on the side, friends with benefits, or an affair, really. And how much self-worth do you have in a relationship? And that's okay. I mean, I'm telling people all the time, I'm not the moral police. If you want to be a side piece for this guy and on the side, that's up to you. Some people are comfortable with that. They like it. I don't know. But if that's something you want, you have to be true to yourself and honest with yourself, right? So Janet Storm's on deck with typing here. Has anyone else got some serious questions here? EG's been on deck for a while. I got someone that's been doing, who's been on my channel for a long time. He said he wanted me to get back to just telling the stories. He said that's your main plate that you serve. I would like to, and I would like people to write me some better quality stories, actually. DC, is the reason why I think about my ex so much because I'm looking for closure? Fucking excellent question, DC. And that's a general question. You're still thinking about your ex because you're not closing loops. Yeah, like every story has a loop to close. It is hard online to talk. I don't know what you mean by that. Just lifting medals while listening, coach. Love your content. Lifting medals. Let me get back to this question. Is the reason why I think about my ex so much because I'm looking for closure? Well, the individual memories you have of your ex probably bring up different things, right? The reason you're thinking about them, I don't know how long you've been together. DC, let me know how long you've been together, like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And you've been to 5. I always bring this up because this is my own example. You've been together 5 years. You lived together. You've been through a lot. Every night you came home, they're there. That's deep. That's like embedded into your skin and your mind. So of course, 5 years of different memories and comforts are going to come up at different times. You're going to go to an ice cream shop and you're going to smell the cone and you're going to go, oh, I remember when we did this. There's going to be a song that comes on that reminds you of them. That's completely natural. But people ask me this a lot. How do I get closure? Everyone gets closure differently. But as far as remembering an ex that you were fond of or you had a good relationship with, I've got 3 exes right now that sometimes they pop up in my head and sometimes I think, wow, maybe that's the one that got away. But then I go, yeah, you know what? My life's turned out okay. Or, like those are natural thoughts that you don't need to fight. What I will say that really helps, and I've talked to people about this before, instead of wanting closure, because some people will say, oh, I wish I just knew she was with someone else. Then I would be done. I also say if you had a really good relationship, maybe tell yourself, wow, I'm really thankful for being in that relationship. I hope she's doing well. I hope he's doing well. That was a really good relationship. Because I've had people tell me about, like, I've been dating before and someone started telling me about the relationship. I'm like, wow, that sounds like a horrible relationship. In my head, of course, I didn't just say that. I'm like, wow, my past relationships weren't that bad. They were really good. They obviously ended for different reasons, but I didn't ever feel like, oh, I'm in a relationship for 2 years or 5 years where we didn't get along. I mean, you should be getting along for the most part. Usually something in the end happens, a job change, personality change, money happens. I don't know. But something happens up to that point. But if you had a consistently bad relationship, that was a choice. Get back to your question, DC. I don't know if you're going to find closure until you meet someone else that takes away that void. And I think you said you're already seeing someone else, but obviously they're not ringing the bell. And it takes time to meet someone else that you're fully into, and it kind of erases the fact that you've been with someone else, because really your next partner out of a relationship, once you're all in, you're not going to keep going back. The only time you're going to go back to your past relationships is when you got problems. BG, just lifting metals. There is no such thing as closure, mate. Yeah, it could be. I mean, you're not going to close off the memories, but there's closure in the fact that you're giving up on the idea of maybe trying to get back together. I know I certainly was at points where I'm like, I'm not trying to get back together. And that's a really good position to be in, because you're not holding on. You're not trying hard. You're not saying, like, that's the thing that people get caught up on, is that, will she come back, or will we be back together? That's the part you can't let go of. And there's no closing of that loop, because it's kind of a mystery to you. And then you're in no contact, so you're not able to make anything happen. But the reality is, when you go, you know what, I'm done, that's when I feel like I've had closure in my relationships of trying or hoping. I'm like, I'm done. And I've made a video about that when I knew I was done. Is the first love the hardest to get over? I'd say majority of the time, absolutely. I would say in my case, no. My first girlfriend was a little over a year, and I loved her. And that particular relationship, I broke up with her for my reasons. And I wouldn't say that was the hardest. The second one, that was 5 years plus, and we lived together, I talk about quite often, because it pertains to how people are feeling when they're going through a really bad breakup, because I've been there. The first one I went through, I broke up. It was hard. It was difficult, but it wasn't long lasting, and I pivoted out of that pretty quickly. So I think it depends on how long. If the first is the hardest, it depends on how long you were together, how deep the relationship was, and what happened. That's why you need to write your story out, send it into writemac.com, or write your story out and have a friend read it, or have some other breakup coach or counselor. But write out your full story and get really clear on what happened, because no two stories, no two breakups are the same, and no two reactions to them are the same. She said she was too afraid of losing me than losing one of her close friends. What does that mean? I think I mentioned that already. I don't expect closure. I don't need any closure. I get the hint. LOL. Well, you laugh a lot. At least you had a good sense of humor, Miss Storm. 3 years. Okay, DC. 3 years is a long time, dude. That's a nice piece of time, and that's going to take you time. And some people have books and stuff like every year it takes another 6 months. I don't know what it's going to take. But if you're seeing someone else, that helps. If you're traveling, that helps. If you have a purpose outside the relationship, that helps. And then, the fact that you still think about them, it'll get a little bit better. I remember thinking, I don't know, it was like 3, 4, 5 months down. I'm like, am I ever going to feel better again? And then I remember like a year and a half later, man, I'm like, I got here. I feel great. I feel good. I don't think about it every day. It's swoosh. The swoosh one, Nike. It's best to learn how you love and let go, setting up expectations for someone else to meet is only setting yourself up for heartbreak and disappointment. Preach on, knock your one. You should write a book, dude. Yeah. It's best to learn how to love and let go. Setting up expectations for someone else to meet is only setting yourself up for a heartbreak and disappointment. Yeah, I mean, you should hold your values and know what you want. And I would say that you might have some certain expectations about a relationship in general, but if they don't work out because that individual doesn't fit that mold, then you have to let them go. My ex and I, and then no one's going to perfectly fit. My ex and I dated for 9 months and we stayed friends for 6 months. After Audrey Mays, interesting, so you stayed friends for 6 months. Let me know out there, do you think more women would rather stay friends than men would like to stay friends? It's an interesting topic, right? I would say that men, when they break up more often, would say like, no, I don't want to be friends. Fuck that. But women would be like, let's stay friends, even if they chose to break up or not break up. My ex and I dated for 9 months. Audrey is a female name, right? Could that be a man's name, Audrey also? Tell me, Audrey. My ex and I dated for 9 months and we stayed friends for 6 months after. And as soon as I started falling again for her, she told me another man asked her out and they are dating now. We are in no contact. Well, that's the danger. That's the danger of being friends. When you offer to be a friend to your ex, you're weaning them off the relationship, as a good friend of mine, Healing Heart, who has a YouTube channel, says. And you're weaning them off the relationship and making it easier for them because they don't have to. They're like, oh, we can still talk, we can still get together for coffee. Yeah, I don't want to really hook up with you right now. Oh, if someone comes along and sweeps me off my feet, then I have the option to go. Finding someone isn't easy. I don't know. I would agree with that. I think it takes more time than people believe. And to find a really good person, you need to be in a really good place, right? I mean, what place are you at in your own life? That's the part that I really get down to when I do a live coaching. I'll ask you like tough questions. I mean, I've had someone before that had a prestigious position in a career and a job, and you can tell when you're talking to him, he's not happy with his job. Then we broke that down a little bit. It's like, okay, it's deeper than just your relationship. You're really unhappy with your job. So I'm like, wow, you got that position? That's a great job, good money. And he's just like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah. It's like, what? Wait a minute, let's unpack this really quick. If you're unhappy with your career, that's a big part of your fucking life, dude. So you will project that and create problems in your relationship, and it won't help you find someone to be your partner very well. With more people you date, do feelings fade for your exes? That's a really good question. Nazamu? Interesting name. With more people you date, do feelings fade for your exes? It's a two-part answer. I'd say that if you have a bad date, then you think, oh, I miss my ex so much. Wow, my ex was so much better than that. Oh my God, she was so much better to talk to. If you have a good date, what happens though, if you're still in a gray area with your ex, it's really hard to have a good date because you still don't have all that energy in place to put into the other person. But if you have a good date, that'll reassure you like, wow, there's someone else nice out here. Take some time. But I always tell people, go on bad dates. It's paradoxical intention, which is part of logotherapy, which is something I follow, which is from Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. And in logotherapy, he talks about paradoxical intention. So I go instead of going like, oh, all the dates I go on are bad or they're not the same, go like, I'm just going to go on a bad date. So anything that good comes out of that, you're like, I'm going to go with good intentions. In other words, I'm going to go have a good time. But if it's a bad date, it's okay because I already kind of expected it would go that way. But you're just going to go out of the house, and then if the girl surprises you or the guy surprises you, and it's like, oh shit, that was really nice. That's better than I thought it was. But if you go into the date like, all dolled up, all ready to go, and then you're like, they do one bad thing, you're like, oh wow, all dates are bad. Oh, it's so hard to get a relationship. Do you have a video on that topic, Coach Mac? What topic? Sometimes it takes years. My old boyfriend took 10 years, girl after girl after girls. 10 years is a long time. Thinking about writing that book, Coach, would be a great way to get my story out there. So you got a couple stories to tell, dude. Shit. Me and Nike One did a live coaching. It was great. And I'm saying, like, you got stuff to tell, dude. Think about writing a book now. You can go to Upwork and have someone help. You could write the book. You can put it on audio, and you can have someone. You don't have to be someone that's really good at writing per se. You could write out most of it, and you with the 2,300 words could write, right? I mean, it might not be a bad thing for you. You got a lot to share, man. You are seasoned, Nike One. I broke up with her, so it is my fault. I'm sorry, I didn't see what you wrote before that, dude. It is a friend's account. Don't know what you mean. I broke up with her, so it's my fault. Yeah, I don't know what you meant by that. Hooper! What up? Hooper 502. Is that you're a Sixers fan? You shooting hoops right now? Here's my question to you on that, coach, about weaning them off. Does no contact work in that situation, or are they gone for good? Weaning, I think when someone's weaning themselves off the relationship, they're making it smoother for them to get out of the relationship. All right, so and every relationship's different, so there's no rule to this when I'm answering this. I have to know specifically what you're talking about. But in general, the example of this, like this guy, I'm using his tag name, Healing Heart, mentions he was in a divorce. I think they were together for over 5 or 6 years. He was deeply hurt. He wanted her back. They saw each other off and on. He had a connection with the kids, and she never was really into getting back together. He felt, and so he felt like he made it easier for her to let him go by seeing him less and less and less and less. If that makes sense. And what you do is instead of her going through no contact and questioning her decision and saying like, "Oh shit, now it's really over," because what happens is when they break up and someone's controlling the relationship. What I mean by controlling the relationship, the person that cares less controls the relationship. That's just how it is. It's just relationships 101. So the minute they break up with you, they're thinking subconsciously, yeah, you're still going to contact me, you're still going to be there because most of the time you've been chasing them, you've been accommodating them. And then when you just go out, done, they're like, oh shit, what happened? They're not contacting me? This is weird. This is strange. This is not what I was thinking was going to happen. And it throws them off, and now they have to assess, wait a minute, how much do I really appreciate the relationship? Where if you were, weaning them off per se, they're like, oh, let's go out and get coffee, and they have a talk, and they talk about their problems, and they're like, oh shit, they get the parts of you that they really like, but they don't have to commit. And they get it whenever they want. That's why when people go, oh, you can call me anytime. It's like, well, you don't have to be a jerk, but you need to be moving forward on your own because they basically just told you this. They just said, you know what, hey, and then you're like trying to negotiate terms and stuff, be friends and stuff. It's not going to work. Good question, though. He's 50, I'm 53. He has chronic pain which surgery didn't solve. He thanked me for being there for him. And that we have great memories together and said he told me that he wants to do something different. Well, you got to accept that, huh? You got to accept. Cindy, I think I read your story recently, too. And you were someone that sent us a story a long time ago. If he has chronic pain, that's separate than your relationship. This is something that people do a lot. It could affect your relationship, but it shouldn't cause him to break up with you. Thank you for being there for him, and that we have great memories. He thanked you to being there for him and appreciated you. Great. He said he told me he wants to do something different. You have to accept that. I don't usually say you have to do many things, but that's something you got to go, all right, I'm going to let this go. If you're not happy with yourself or where you're at in life, the next person is going to get the wrath of that relationship is toxic from the start. Yeah. I mean, looking back on where I was at when I first met girlfriends, I was always in a really good place. And, sitting here being a coach and different things, it's not like I'm not human and have dark times in my life, right? And I've been down and out and lost a job or, financially down, all these things. I mean, with the internet now and these things, every star now, especially like YouTube, there's a guy out there, I forgot his name, he's got a big YouTube channel, and he's like, I was sleeping on my sister's couch and I didn't have any money, and I got kicked out of pro football. He's like a pro football player. Like, everyone has one of those stories that they like violin, I call it, play it. You know, everyone's been through it, and that's part of being able to help other people, because if everything went right for you, right, the axe is going to fall at some point. And I'd rather have it happen early on in life so I can realize I can get through shit rather than later on. I've been having a rough few days. I can't stop comparing the guy my ex jumped into a relationship with. She really left me for him, but won't admit it. He's in the military, and I just feel less. I have been rough for a few days. I can't stop comparing the guy my ex jumped into a new relationship with. She's really left me for him, but won't admit it. Well, that's a story you're telling yourself, Hooper. I mean, someone doesn't go, I'm sorry, I lost your why do you need her to admit it or not admit it? What kind of game do you get there? If she goes, yeah, I traded you in for this guy, does that make you feel better? This is where I come in and reframe the story for you. From training, you're done. So Hooper, just to get back to your, says the connection's unstable again. Everyone out there? Back on deck. Okay. It's funny when that happens, 5 people leave the conversation. Attention spans, huh? I'm back on deck here. So she really left me. Let me reread this really quick, because I was in the middle of talking about it. I've been having a rough few days. Okay, allow yourself to have a few rough days. Anytime you're going through the roughest part of the day, get exercise, get active, get outside, get moving. If you're at work, go outside and say, I need to take 15 minutes to go for a walk. If it's the worst time of it, okay? Do not sit and stew. I can't stop comparing the guy my ex jumped into a new relationship with. All right, here's the flip side. I know you said the guys that she really left me for him, but won't admit it. Okay, let's reframe this story. She did not leave you for him, right? She's just in a new relationship with a new guy that's in the military, and she's moving forward. And at some point, you got to go, I'm done. Now, here, let's flip this whole fucking story. Let's flip it over. Let's say she came back to you right now. She's done with that guy in the military. How are you ever going to have the same relationship? Aren't you going to be like, oh shit, she's been with this other guy. She's been hooking up with him. She's been infatuated with him. She's been into him. She's posting photos up, and he's in the military. I just feel less. If you feel less about yourself because some man's in the military and you're not, you want to join the military then? You could do that. I mean, at what point, what's going to make you feel like more of a man as an individual? Not for her, not for anyone else. Because being a man has nothing to do with being in the military. I mean, I respect people in the military. My father was in the military, ex-Marine. But that doesn't make you a man or not a man. So unpack the idea of what makes you a man, what makes you a better man, what makes you in a state. The thing that the military gives people is it gives them a purpose and it gives them structure, right? It gives you a 4-year, you sign up for 2 years, you sign up for 4 years. College is the same way. It gives you structure. So that instead of you going like, how am I going to plan my day? The military is like, wake your ass up at 6 a.m., go for a run, get your chow, get with your guys, do this, do that. They give you all the plans in place and you come out with a really structured life. The other side to the military is you might have to go to war. And most people think like, oh, that's admirable, that's noble. And I think it is in a lot of ways, but people that have been there are like, man, that's no joke. So if you feel like you're not man enough because someone's military and you're comparing yourself to one individual in the world when there's 3 billion other men, well, get back on deck and go, how do I make my place in the world? How do I feel special? We can do that in a live coaching, Hooper. Do rebounds help if there's no way of getting back with your ex? Depends on you as an individual. If you're the type that you go out and have a rebound relationship and you just go out and have fun and you're not too attached to it, then fine. If you go out and get into a rebound relationship and you're the type to get highly attached really quick, and something goes wrong in that relationship, fine. But there's been people I've known that have been in rebound relationships that end up being long-term. There's no rule to that. Depends on what your intentions are and the person that you actually rebounded with. So that goes back to being in a really good place. If you're in a bad place, you're probably going to rebound with a bad individual that feeds into your insecurities. Talk AB, if your ex texts you calling you babe or pet names while talking about giving stuff back. I wouldn't think so. You got to clear your own head. And feeling so, you can open yourself up to something fresh and clean. Absolutely. Weaning not good except for drugs. Janet, come on. We don't want to talk about it. I don't know. I've never been in that position before. Really interesting for people that are having problems with alcohol and drugs. The psychedelics and stuff like that are coming in to help people out. The topic of her being more afraid of losing me than one of her friends. Wow, you're really hung up on that, E.G. Daniel Calimere. How are you doing? Fucking outstanding. Thanks for asking, Daniel. Anyone thinking about the live coaching comes highly recommended from someone who's done it. Thanks for the praise, Coach. I appreciate that, Nike One. We had a really good session, right? We had a really good session. Really good. It was really good talking to you, and I think it worked out for you too. Thanks for the recommendation. I appreciate it. Cindy Heat, dating other people, 2, traveling, working on purpose. Is that it? I'm bye now. Thanks a million, Janet Storm. Right on, Janet. Thanks for contributing for almost an hour. Larissa, I don't know what that is, Larissa. Larissa, you sent me your story recently. I know that name. We're here. See, now this is when this gets all over the place a little bit. I got to get back on deck here. So, E.G. So the topic of being more afraid of losing me than one of her friends. I don't know what you mean by that, but you should. That's her problem in the breakup. If she's thinking like, oh, I'm so afraid of losing you more than one of my friends, fine. I mean, I had that in a breakup before. It was like, we're breaking up. It was mutual in some ways. I didn't want it, but the circumstances were like that. And it's like, I still want to come over and like do laundry and help you out with this. It's like, no, it's not a go. Like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's not what I want. So you can like keep an eye on what's going on and keep options open. No, you already told me who you were. It's like you got to set in a place what you want. This idea of someone being friends, hoping that it works out, that you can get back together. Does it work sometimes? Yeah. Is the percentage really low? Yeah. And is it weak and needy? Yeah. Is it misleading and non-truthful? Yeah. So I mean, to me, if you have to go back in a covert way and be a little CIA agent, and be a friend, and all the while in your mind you're thinking, I don't really want to be friends, but maybe this will work out. What does that say about your character? They're going to smell that on you. They're going to know. And like I said, if it's a guy, that's a lot of time, or a woman, and they're friends with you, and you show that weakness, and they're narcissistic or selfish, they could just use you. They could go, oh yeah, we can be friends. We can be friends with benefits, and then they leave the door open to see someone else. Been broke up 2 months and recently saw my ex admitting on an Instagram post. You shouldn't be following your ex at all on Instagram. That she's being a slut and sounds happy about it. How much longer do they go through that relief phase? Well, they don't all do that. So get rid of the generalization. Luis Perez. That's where I'll stop you right now. This is what's toxic, dude. Is you see something like that, it hurts your feelings, and it's fucked up. Where's your control? Where's your power? Number one, you shouldn't be checking on her if you guys are broken up on IG, because this is the kind of shit that upsets you. Because you're no longer a part of her life, no longer have a say. But you think like, can't believe she's doing that. She is. If she enjoys that, being that way, and she's actually said it, I mean, that's your clarity to go, wow, we're not getting back together. I mean, is that someone you want to be together that's bragging about being a slut? I don't even like saying that word. And she sounds happy about it. First of all, on Instagram, are you reading that? So how does it even sound a certain way? So bottom line is get off Instagram so you don't put yourself in that position again. How much longer do they, as in all women? This isn't a problem for all women. This is an individual thing that she posted. And who knows if she's trying to get your attention. I don't know because I don't know your full story. I can't give you a better response than that. But you do have power in not even looking at that post. And you do have power in saying like, wow, I'm glad I know that, and I'm glad I'm not with her anymore because that's not an individual I want to have a long-term relationship with. Nike 1, the way society is now, I will always assume that there is someone else who keeps me on my toes and on my A game, and I won't be surprised if she ever hits me. Oh, wow, I didn't know I had all these. A game, and I won't be surprised if she ever hits me with there is someone else. People today are scared to be alone. Yeah, again, I'd get back to Nike 1. I respect your opinion. I like the way you write it, but I would say I wouldn't generalize all people. But society right now is very fast moving. Most societies, and let's just say you live in America, you live in Cali, and you're in a particular area. And people don't realize that where you live and the subculture within that area makes a difference. There's something called the collective subconscious, and it's an attitude that a city or a town has. It's like I've met people before that tell me they're from a town of 200 people, and the stories they have to tell about that is like everyone's in your business, people are highly judgmental. You live in like a big city, there's still a collective unconscious. Like I lived in San Francisco and I lived in San Diego, different collective subconscious, different attitudes. The living there, the weather made a difference. Living in different areas will have different effects on the people that live there, and it will have effects on the relationships. But going back to what you said, keeps you on your toes, and the possibility that someone can meet someone else is much higher because of social media. And I think people are much more likely not to commit long term. Does that mean everyone is going to do that? No. But I think maybe what you're saying, Nike 1, everyone's capable of doing it, which is true. Shawn Michaels. Is Shawn Michaels the name of a wrestler? That's what I always think of that. Is moving out, and I don't even follow wrestling. Does moving out of the place help us to get over a person emotionally? Please suggest. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's extremely underrated actually. So if you shared an apartment with your ex, especially like a cozy place, that room when you walk into it for the first couple months, if you live together, feels like I've told people it feels like there's a ghost, like this empty aura is not there. So if you can move out of that place somewhere else, maybe even get roommates so you have someone to support you, that'll help you out a lot. Moving cities or moving states or moving countries, that'll flip you really quick because part of the thing that you're attached to in a breakup is the routine, the security, the familiarity. And when you move somewhere new, you break that, and then you have to you're so busy creating new routines and new things and meeting new people that the change of being single doesn't seem so dramatic or tough. Just to let everyone know here, I got about 10 minutes left because I got to get ready for a live coaching here. My ex broke up with me, but continued to play hot and cold. Samantha J. I think I read your story, Samantha. A couple Samanthas I've helped. My ex broke up with me, but continues to play hot and cold. Told me he doesn't see why we can't try again in the future. I don't know how to feel. Should I just ask him or keep with his half no contact? Well, he's controlling the situation because you're saying like, what should I accept hot and cold? Because he needs to play hot and cold. Well, just turn off the faucet. What do you want? Do you want to play that game? Where's your power? Told me he doesn't see why we can't try again in the future. Oh, but in the meantime, we're just going to be in a holding pattern and be friends with benefits him. Is that what you want? When doing no contact, is it like a rubber man effect for your ex? I don't know what that means, rubber man effect. I mean, I'm not sure. Just got home from the gym. It's nice to take some anger out on some weights. I'm greater than what my ex did to me. I can't even compare myself to a rebound. That's how much my confidence has risen. Fucking outstanding, Dan. I'm happy for you, bud. Yeah, weight training is big. Anything active is big. And it makes a difference, right? It doesn't cure you, but in the moment you start feeling better. And if you do 6 months of the gym, I mean, the greatest way to make yourself feel more attractive is to look better. You look in the gym, you go, wow, I'm looking a lot better. And she told me you attract what you fear, just give it time. That's true. What you think about most, what you resist persists. Tony Robbins likes to say. That's true. I'm getting confused here because it's Daniel Calimere and Daryl Campbell have the same first couple letters. Okay, Samantha J. I'm going to go through these pretty quick. Samantha J. Been working on myself, giving him space and letting him come to me. The word friendship has never been mentioned. Do I just jump the gun and say no thanks? Well, what do you want? Reassess what you want. You certainly can keep. Here's the thing. If you end it in a way that someone's not angry with you and you kind of ended in a gray area and you guys are in contact and you're still seeing each other and the problems are being worked on, okay, but what are you giving him space for? And the idea that you feel like it's friendship or not, but if you want to jump the gun and say no thanks, what's your intention in doing that? My ex broke no contact after 2 months, but we are now long distance, so it's pointless. Well, really, if long distance was a problem, and it usually becomes a problem over time, well, then you're right, it is pointless until one of you live closer to each other. I feel like I'm forced to be friends with her if I want to keep in contact. How would you handle this? If you want to be friends, be friends. If you don't want to be friends, don't be friends. If you want to do it gracefully, you might say, hey, at this point, I can't really be your friend, but maybe in the future. I care about you, but the distance is just too long, right? I feel stupid for getting, and when you do that, Naza, Mao, speak about yourself. Don't put words in their mouth and tell them how they feel or what they should do. I feel stupid for getting stuck in this situation. Broke up because I couldn't get over her sleeping with her ex while we were in a dating phase. Got back together 2 years later, only not to be able to. I feel stupid for getting stuck in this situation. Well, don't feel stupid. Get in a fucking solution-based mode, right? Get in a solution-based mode. You can work through this. You can get over this. You're not stuck right now. You think you're stuck. But if you're stuck, there's always a way out of being stuck. Broke up because I didn't get over her sleeping with her ex. There's a lot of guys, particularly, that can't get over the fact that an ex slept with their ex. And that was going to be a problem long term. And that just means that your next relationship, maybe you want a woman that's more conservative. Or you need to get to a place where you're so secure that you can let that go. But if that's a sticking point for you, then the relationship was never going to work. So you're not stuck. You got out of a stuck relationship or a stuck mode that you couldn't get over something. Most females nowadays is not emotionally available. I don't know. That's a pretty general statement. And yes, Max, Shawn Michaels is a wrestling legend. Yeah, I don't know. Like when I was a little kid, I used to like WWF? I don't know, when I was like 6 or 7, and they had Saturday or Sunday, and they had Hulk Hogan and those guys. That's how, the guy with this Jake the Snake and all those people. But I'm like, Shawn Michaels, that's a wrestler. I'm in no contact, blocked her. And Shawn Michaels, I think you've sent your story in to me, if I'm correct. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. Like I said, I'm going here pretty soon. Most females nowadays, not emotionally available. Larissa, I'm in no contact, blocked her from all social medias. It's been 1 month in no contact. She's saying she's happy with dating app on Twitter and on pictures. Should I unblock her for her to reach out? No. If she wants to get a hold of you, she can. This idea that when you unblock someone so they can reach out to you, you're subconsciously telling yourself, I hope they contact me, and you're checking your social media every day hoping for that. Don't do that. Get over her sleeping with others while we were broken up. I feel immature for allowing that to bother me. I wouldn't. If I had a deep, long relationship with a girlfriend, we broke up, and she hooked up with her ex immediately, it wouldn't be something. It won't be something that I was like, oh shit, that's fine. I'm being immature. No, my emotions would get in the way real quick, and I would be upset. I wouldn't hold on to it. For me, it would probably be more clarity in the sense like now we're really broken up. I'm probably really done. And I've had an ex go back to their ex after we broke up, and I wasn't angry about it because I was moving on with someone else. But I was like, wow, you went back to your ex, the one you always complained about. It kind of told me something there. Is it normal to have? But saying that, completely up to her. She's single now. Hey Mac, nice seeing you up here again. Right on. AET, you've always contributed really well. Is it normal to have friends from your ex? Is it normal? I don't know. You know, what is normal? I mean, there's nothing normal about breakups. There's nothing normal about relationships. You know, it's normal for humans to drink water. But if you're still my exes, I haven't really stayed friends, but I haven't been bitter with any of them. If I came across them, I certainly would say hello and talk to them and be cordial and be friendly. And I think that would be fine if they, you know, but I think if they're really close friends from your ex, and depending on how your breakup happened, if you're staying friends with someone to somehow stay connected to your ex, I don't know if that's going to work in your best interest. This is a personal question, Coach, but I wanted to ask, have you ever been left for another guy, and did you expect to try to get back with you? I've never been left for another guy, no. I've never been in a relationship where someone left me or directly cheated on me that I know of. I've said that before. I mean, women can cheat and be clever about it. I don't know. One relationship towards the end, I suspected something was going on, but I had no evidence. And we got to the breakup pretty soon after that. But as far as being left for another individual, that would be difficult. That's a gut punch, man. I just came across photos of my ex and a student that he trains with, and it looks like from the caption she puts that they got something going on. WTF, I got 0 sleep last night. Ground zero, AET. That's what I'm talking about. You said I got 0 sleep right now. You just went to ground zero because you came across some photos, I'm assuming on social media. You got to take your power back and not put yourself in a position where you can come across those photos. Cindy G, okay, I will. Thank you so much. No problem, Cindy. BG, you may not answer. Thanks. No, I just did answer that. I would tell you the truth about that. I mean, but no, I haven't had that happen. We tried to get together, but she tried once a week and gave up all. Let me go back to that BG. It's so funny because these things resonate in your head. If that happened to me, where I was in a relationship and a girlfriend, wife, whatever, left me for another guy, it would crush, it would hurt. I would be done. I would be in no contact, no problem. Because that's just completely, I wouldn't want to put myself in a position to be hurt that way again, but they're also directly telling you, like, look, I met someone else. We tried to get together, but she tried 1 week and gave up all, said I should move on. I couldn't accept friendship. If you can't accept friendship, then don't try it. Friendships, just like relationships, friendships should flow really nicely, right? They shouldn't be tried. How can I tell you if an ex is testing you to see if you're emotional right or for marriage? Well, if an ex is testing you by breaking up with you to see if you're emotionally right for marriage, that's a dirty test, man. But I'm sure some exes do that. I'm sure, like, if they really want marriage, that is a way to see where a guy's feelings lie. And I'm sure it's worked before, where a woman's been like, I've had guys tell me before, like, she's been wanting to get married for 4 or 5 years, and now she said she's sick of it, and she left because she was tired of waiting. And then the thing that's difficult is once someone makes a decision to break up, I think especially women, and they have a reason, like they're sick of waiting for marriage or they're sick of long distance, it's It's hard to overcompensate and say, oh, yeah, now I want to get married. It doesn't work that way. They don't want to tell you exactly what to do. They want to give you hints, and then they want you to fucking surprise them. I've been in no contact for 3 months. Ex texted me out of the blue. She tried friend zoning me before. I said no and walked away. I want to work things out. How do I proceed? Eddie Toledo. Nice name. Eddie Toledo. I've been in no contact 3 months. Ex texted me out of the blue. She tried friend zoning me before. I said no and walked away. I want to work things out. How do I proceed? First of all, it's great you asked this question. Don't go into this, I want to work things out. I have no idea what she sent. I don't know how she sent you the message after 3 months of no contact. She's reached out to you. I don't know the details of the breakup, so I really can't respond with a good answer that's tailored to you. Send your story in or do a live coaching, and we can do that. But I'll work with what you have here. If she contacted you, don't go, oh, I don't want to just be friends. And if we're going to work things out, don't get all dramatic. Get back together. Have a phone conversation, a live chat, a lunch, a dinner, whatever you guys used to do. Okay? Go out, have a good time, and reconnect in the present moment. Don't bring up old shit. Don't bring up getting back together. Have a good time. Possibly hook up. See what you're like in each other's presence. Don't play the texting game. Now, if she brings up friends, don't go, oh, I'll never be friends with you. If we're going to, don't put a bunch of pressure on the situation. Just go, you know what? I don't think friends would probably work with us long term, but I really enjoyed us meeting up today and seeing where this will lead. See how that's a little different? Don't put restrictions or expectations that high on it. Second chances do second chances work? Sure they do. It just depends on the situation. That's why you need to send your story in and ask specifically what you're asking about. All right, any closing comments here? I got a live coaching to attend in 10 minutes. Anything closing? A to the E to the T, who's been on all the live streams so far. Thanks for contributing, hon. I'm sorry that you had a 0 sleep last night. That's tough. That's really tough. Thanks, Coach. Well, thank you, BG, for always being a part of the game. Anyone else? Anyone else in here? You want to drop something in here? If you like this, throw me a like. If you didn't like it, that's just fine. If you guys want to subscribe, subscribe. And I'm assuming most of these people are subscribers, though. Book a live coaching session. Get on deck. Eddie Toledo. Thanks, Coach. No worries, buddy. I like the name. Eddie Toledo. Anyone else? Closing out here a couple minutes. Any closing questions? How long do they stay in your mind? Well, that's up to you, and that's you as an individual. So that's an extremely general question. But the best thing you can do is stay active. Put yourself first right now. Quit thinking, hoping, trying what's going to come next with you. What you're chasing when they're staying in your mind is the uncertainties driving you nuts. And what you want to do is find places that you can get certainty. So like going to the gym or going for a run, you're like, worst case scenario, I'm just, great thing about going for a run or a walk, you don't have to go for a run if you don't want. It's like even now today, I went for a walk on the beach. I didn't run. When you do that, you're in control. You're certain about what you're doing, and it's a certain moment. When you're sitting at home on your couch and you're thinking about them, it's all uncertainties. Jay, thanks for the help tonight. Samantha, gonna keep riding this weird wave. Ha ha ha. Okay, Samantha J. I was in no contact with her for 3 months, and then I decided to never call her again. Do you know what she's thinking right now? No. No, I don't know what she's thinking. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not a psychic. And you don't know what she's thinking, and don't try to put a story to that and figure it out. What you got to do is you got to put yourself in a position where you don't come across material where you put stories to it. So I'm going to close out with that. Everyone out there, if you want to send in your story to writemac.com, W-R-I-T, I should write that down. I don't write anything down. Send it in. Have a good one, Coach. Right on, Daniel. Take it easy.